Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode the blueprint for the tiny, tiny machines that run basically everything in the living world. We're talking about proteins. So, have you ever just stopped and wondered how life does it? How does nature build these incredibly complex little engines that power our cells, digest our food, or even carry oxygen through our blood, all from a pretty simple set of instructions? Well, the answer lies right here, in structures just like this one. This is a protein, and it's an absolute marvel of biological engineering. But as wild as it looks, its entire existence, all that complexity, it begins with something surprisingly simple, a one-dimensional string of code. To really understand how these incredible machines get built, we first need to learn the language they're written in. And, like any language, it all starts with a basic alphabet. This right here, this is the magic number. Just 20. Think about that for a second. Across all of life on Earth, from the tiniest little bacterium to a giant blue whale, every single protein is built from a universal set of just 20 different building blocks. That's it. And these building blocks are called amino acids. The best way to think of them is as letters. They're the letters that get strung together to write the instructions for every single thing a protein is supposed to do. Now, what's really cool is that while all 20 of these amino acids share a common backbone structure, the real key, the secret sauce, is that variable side chain. This is what gives each letter its own unique chemical personality. I mean, some of them hate water and try to hide from it. Others love water. Some have a positive charge, some have a negative one. And this variety, this is the entire secret to how proteins work. Okay, so how do you take these individual letters and start linking them together to form, the biological equivalent of words and sentences? Well, the process is actually beautiful in its simplicity. You take two amino acids, form a super strong link between them called a peptide bond, and then you just do it again, and again, and again, and again, creating this long, flexible chain, kind of like beads on a string. This linear sequence, the specific order of the amino acids, ABC versus CBA, that is what scientists call the protein's primary structure. It's the most basic, fundamental level of all the information. But here's the thing. That simple string is just the beginning. The truly mind-blowing part is what happens next, because it does not stay a string for very long. It's incredible, really. The chain just starts to fold all by itself. All those unique chemical personalities of the side chains we talked about, the water haters and the water lovers, the positives and the negatives, they all start interacting. They push and they pull on each other, forcing that string to twist and turn into a very specific, very stable, three-dimensional shape. As it folds up, certain little segments of the chain start to form these regular repeating patterns. One of the most common ones is called the alpha helix. You can literally picture it as a perfect, tightly wound spiral staircase, or maybe a spring. It gives the protein these rigid, rod-like sections. Another really key pattern is the beta sheet. This is where different parts of the chain run right alongside each other, forming a structure that looks a lot like a pleated ribbon. These sheets give the protein a whole lot of strength and stability. And this right here just nails the central idea. The folding isn't random, not at all. It's a totally spontaneous process where the one-dimensional information in that amino acid sequence directly programs the final three-dimensional architecture. So when you take all of these helices and sheets and all the little loops and turns that connect them, and you finally pack them all together, what you get is the protein's tertiary structure. This is it. This is the final, functional, three-dimensional shape. And here is the crucial point, the whole reason we care about this. That final 3D shape is everything. It creates all these little pockets and grooves and surfaces that let the protein do its specific job. Whether that's grabbing a molecule, speeding up a chemical reaction, or just being a building block, the shape defines the function. Period. This idea is so fundamental that it leads us to a really critical question, one with massive consequences for our health. What happens if there's a typo? What happens if just one of those letters in that primary sequence is wrong? Well, there is no more powerful or tragic example of this than sickle cell anemia. This awful disease is caused by a change in just a single amino acid, one letter out of 146 in one of the chains of the hemoglobin protein. That's the molecule that carries oxygen in our blood. Think about that. One tiny, tiny error in the primary structure causes a total catastrophe in the final shape. The mutated hemoglobin proteins start sticking to each other, forming these long, stiff fibers that warp the red blood cells into that classic sickle shape, and that leads to all the devastating symptoms of the disease. And that right there brings us to the ultimate takeaway, the central dogma of protein biology. It all boils down to this. The linear sequence of amino acids dictates the three-dimensional structure, and it is that structure that determines the protein's biological function. Sequence leads to structure, which leads to function. You see, understanding this fundamental blueprint isn't just some academic thing. Figuring out how to predict a protein's final shape just from its sequence has been one of the biggest challenges in all of biology for decades. Cracking that code is the absolute key to understanding countless diseases. And maybe more importantly, it's the foundation for designing the next generation of medicines that can precisely target these incredible molecular machines.